Aloha. I just returned from Hawaii 3 or 4 days ago and feel like a human being now, having caught up on my sleep. But I have to tell you, every time I leave Hawaii, and this was my seventh trip in 6 years, I am a sobbing, pathetic mess. A sobbing, pathetic mess telling my family goodbye. Now, I only have one family member there now, my younger son, but still, he had to walk me in the airport. I'm crying my eyes out, hugging him, telling him I love him. And as he walks away and I'm still crying, I'll turn and look back at him and watch him walk away. Sometimes he looks at me. And then typically I weep all the way out to the runway. If you've ever flown out of Honolulu, you know it's a long taxi out to the runway. I'm always weeping. Fortunately, I had a really cool seatmate. I was very grateful. I prayed about that. And she kept me distracted, so I did not weep on the way out. But I started thinking about the grief that comes in, even though it's temporary, when we have to tell our loved ones goodbye and we don't know when we'll see them again because of geographical distance. So, I was thinking about the first time I recall having an experience like that. I was around 11 years old, and it was my first time at summer camp overnight, where you stayed overnight for a week. I remember that first night, I was so homesick. Even though I had friends there, I was homesick. It was the first time I had been away from my parents for a week overnight. But after one day, I got over it. Now, when they dropped me off at college, my freshman year, I do not think I cried. I was ready to embark on that college adventure. But especially with my children, the partings have been really hard. When my sons were growing up, they went to a camp that was only about 35 miles from our home. And yet, my older son would always say the same thing to me. Now, keep in mind, he was a child. He was in elementary school. But before we parted ways, he would look at me and he would say, well, I guess this is it. And I would fight the tears back. And then when I left the cabin, crying, driving home, crying. That same son went to college in Georgia. And when I dropped him off first day of his freshman year, knowing that he was preparing for a military career, I left in a torrential downpour. It was pouring cats and dogs, but it was also pouring in my car because I was a sobbing mess for probably 45 minutes. Cried when my younger son left the nest. We have these moments. I just remember the last example here is when my older son was getting ready to deploy for the first time to Iraq. And we were standing outside the Austin, Texas airport in late December 2008. And even in the midst of my tears, I think I memorized every inch of his face, knowing that he was going to be in that situation in combat for a year. But God is grateful. God is great. God is good. And I am so grateful for his protection of him. But back to the grief, it's okay. I used to apologize for being a sobbing puddle whenever I would tell someone goodbye. I was always like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. Honor your grief. It is okay if you collapse into a puddle. That shows that you love someone. It shows that you miss them. And my prayer and my hope is always when I tell anybody that I love in my life goodbye, and I don't know when I'll see them again, my prayer is that we will see each other again. So honor your grief in partings like that. Don't park in a place of pity. Don't apologize for crying. Whatever happens, just don't apologize and keep the faith that you'll see them again. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. If you have any partings today, honor your tears and then do something special for yourself. Have a great one.